So, good afternoon to everyone. Today, yesterday we have discussed what are the different properties of client server model and everything. Everything has been discussed. Today, we'd like to start with unit number two. So, look at this particular unit number two. This is the syllabus actually. Look at this particular unit number two. In unit number two, so first to put 50%, I'm not supposed to take this particular class right now. So this 50% will be taken huge amount of time to complete, probably so some 7 to 8 classes, which is to complete of this particular thing, and you have approximately uh, 14 plus 14, 28 marks are there for this particular whatever the syllabus I have selected here, whatever the topics I have selected here. So therefore, we would like to concentrate. We would like to concentrate on this one first, SQL and related things of SQL. Then we'll move to entity relationship model and all those other things. Because if you learn the SQL, obviously you understand what kind of activities or entities or attributes or relationships or how you can develop everything will be understand very easily when so if you completed or if you covered this SQL here. So that I'd like to give preference to cover this particular area, then please, I believe that everybody must attend. So far, only 30 people have joined here. I don't know why. So somehow, I'd like to start this particular session without any further delay here. So let us take into consideration of unit number two. So unit number two, okay, let me take it. And yeah, unit number two will be so actually covering of SQL here, structured query language here, and this structured query language is only the language which is used for databases. We have many other languages that are high-level languages that those languages are supposed to be used to develop some kind of applications. Either it might be web applications or standalone applications or enterprise resource planning, ERP kind of applications. However, you do have several facilities as far as the languages, other high-level languages are concerned. But SQL, so it is a backend in the sense, actual database will be stored at a physical schema. So from physical schema, if you want to retrieve any kind of data, then you have to use only one language. That language is SQL, structured query language. And this particular structured query language was actually proposed by father of database management systems, who is Edgar Franklin Code. He is the person who actually proposed this one here. He was not developed anything, but he was given 12 postulates, 12 rules. 12 rules have been given here. So based on these 12 rules, structured query language was developed. It's a language. It is a high-level language. It was developed based on the proposals, based on the postulates which were given by Edgar Franklin Code in 1972. Okay, based on his postulates, so people have developed many companies have developed structured query language, and of course, people who are learning this particular structured query language, these people are very much interested towards Oracle. So Oracle is very simple to learn, very simple to understand when compared to all other kinds of database applications. So people will be always looking forward. The learners will always looking forward with Oracle only. So we are going to learn something about Oracle with the version Oracle 12.1.0, which is Cloud Edition C. Okay, 12. Okay, Oracle 12.6, simply speaking. So we are going to concentrate on this particular version of Oracle here. However, so this is the only language which is being accessed by any database are relational database management systems. Okay, only language. You don't have any other languages which could be done. Only so this particular SQL. This could be structured query language will be pronounced as SQL. SEEQUL, SQL, not actually SQL. It is pronounced as a SQL. Okay, so the SQL is being always used for retrieving the data, not exactly retrieving. What kind of operations you are supposed to do on database management systems? All operations will be done by this SQL here. Okay. And there are several features for this particular language. If you take any kind of language, every language has its own feature. Some languages will become under structured programming, some other will be object-oriented programming, some other will be functional programming, something like that. There are certain number of features for every language. Similarly, it also a structured query language does also have some kind of features. So, what are the features here? We'd like to concentrate. So, what is the basic difference between SQL and other languages? Is SQL is mainly concentrate on memory space, how the data will be stored, how the data will be retrieved, and how the data will be manipulated. So these are the operations actually done so that SQL or SQL does have its own identity. Whereas other high-level languages, they are supposed to use it to develop the what you call business logic between data and the actual presentation of data, how business logic will be established. That could be done by all other languages such as C++, Java, Oracle, Visual C++, or any other front-end applications, if you consider anything here. So in view of this particular SQL, we'd like to take some number of features. First feature is non-procedural language. Non-procedural language in the sense, if you consider C, okay, best example is C. If you consider C, C does have a procedure here, something like this. So MEIN, you just open MEIN, something like this, open brace and variable declaration and perform some kind of operation and close. So such kind of structure might be there for C programming. And C++ also having some kind of its own structure. So without using that particular structure, you could not run the program. So here, this structure cannot be followed by, such kind of structure cannot be followed by SQL here. It is a non-procedural language. There might not have any procedures to be done. There might not be having any specific functions to be done. You are not supposed to implement your own functions by using SQL. Whatever this statement you can write, so that could be written in single statement and you have to specify semicolon. Obviously, this statement will be communicates with different so areas of actual database application, and so that you could get the data back. So that is why people are not interested to learn SQL here, because everything, whatever the requisition or whatever the problem you have given, everything must be done within single line. So that is why people are not interested to learn. Of course, you will have much enough time to take this particular class. So somehow it is a non-procedural language. There is no procedure to be developed. Only single line, everything should be developed by you. And as far as Edgar Franklin code, already I have given in the beginning of this class, Franklin code has been developed an entity which is called as a table, and the table might be always taken into consideration of rows and columns. Okay, each row will be one record, and each column will be one attribute. However, so this SQL can be processed based on the interest of the users or based on the query which has been given by the user. It can be processed number of records at a time. Probably that might be any number of records, probably 10 power 1, 10 power 2, 10 power 3, or 10 power 20, or 10 power 300, any number of records which is being affected. So everything will be done at a time. So that is why SQL is the only language, SQL is the only language which have been used by any database applications. Okay. This is the one very important features of So this is a SQL, and then followed by it is always guarantees to have data consistency. Let me discuss this data consistency while we are doing some kind of a practical approach. Then you could understand what is data consistency. Okay. Then it is also guarantees data redundancy. So data redundancy will be reduced. Completely data redundancy will be gets reduced so that the duplication will be eliminated from the storage. And then it is a client server based system. It is a client server based system. Simply speaking, more and more sophisticatedly, we will call it as instead of a client server, we'd like to consider as so request response kind of system. Request response kind of system. What do you mean by request response kind of system here is your SQL is a client server. Let me consider this is the client and this is the server. This is the server. Whatever the database you are trying to create using client, everything will be stored within the server only. Database 1, database 2, database 3, database 4, and so on. How many number of databases you have with you, these will be stored by using this particular server only. So you have username and password while communicate with the server, so that initially you just have to communicate with the server by giving username and password here. Okay. Afterwards, after giving, so if you have any requisitions, then the server will be respond for our requisition. Once you have successfully gets connected, that connection will be virtual connection. That is not physical connection. Physically, some wires will be communicated with the server and client. But after once you have connected, the connection is temporarily disconnected, because if you are supposed to apply any query which is used to get the data from server, then only connection will be re-established and the data will be picked up from the particular data will be picked up from server and can be thrown to client. After transferring the data from server to client, again the link will be temporarily disabled. As and when, so there are certain number of sub languages are there. Based on the sub language, the link will be gets enabled. The link will be gets disabled. It is only virtual operation. It is not physical operation. It is only virtual operation. So okay. So in this way, you can perform the operation. This kind of operation is called as request response operation. If you have any requisition, client will be made a particular requisition. Based on the requisition, server will be give a response. Server will be give some kind of response. This is done by server. If you don't have any requisition, server could not respond for you. If you have requisition, yes, server will be respond for our requisition. So if you write one particular query, that query will be retrieve some kind of data from one particular database. A server will perform that kind of operation on behalf of your client, and that can be sent to your based on your request that will be thrown to you. So this could be done. So this kind of operation is called as a client server operation, and this client server operation, client server based systems are very interesting systems. Then followed by any query. Already I have told you this is non-procedural language. Since it is non-procedural, everything will be written in single command only. After writing single command, you have to enclose with semicolon. If you are not to put any semicolon at the end of your query, so SQL will understand that yes, user wants to continue to write query. Okay, user wants to continue to write query. All other languages, if you consider all other languages, enter key will be used to execute the process, whereas in SQL, semicolon will be used to execute the query. If you are forget to use semicolon, obviously it will be terminated. It could not be executed anymore. It will be terminated. I'll show you. It will be terminated. So I'll show you that particular pattern, how this could be happen here. I'll show you probably by tomorrow's class. Okay. However, so you need to remember that so every query, whatever the query you have written, that query must be end with a semicolon. This must be there with you. Then followed by SQL is made up of four different types of sublanguages. So first one is data definition language, data definition language. Second one is data manipulation language. Third one is transaction control language, and the fourth one is data control language. These are the four different types of languages which are available with you in databases. Out of these four, so data manipulation language is very important. If you learn data manipulation language properly, yes, you are master in SQL. You could be master in SQL. And of course, when the data definition language, when this particular data definition language and transaction control language will be run by you, then requisitions will be made to server. Otherwise, there is no requisition. Okay, requisitions shall be made to the server when data definition language commands are activated. Otherwise, data manipulation language commands are activated. Transaction control language commands are activated. If these two commands will be done, then obviously request will be made to the server by the client. Obviously, server will respond whatever the requisition you have made. Based on that, it could be responded, and it could be gives you certain kind of output for you here. And the data control language will be, so this is a particular kind of language which could be used to connect the database from one user to another user. You are one user, myself is other user, and one more person will be other user. I have some data, you have some data. Data set A will be there with me, data set B will be there, some other person. So server will be connected with, let me consider this is client 1, and this is client 2, and client 3, C3 will be there here. Like this, many number of clients are supposed to be connected to this particular server. One kind of data set A will be there with him, data set B will be there with him, data set C will be there with him. So if you don't have any direct connection with this particular server client, you could not access the data set of one particular client to another client. So that data control language can be used to communicate virtually. Virtually it is being communicated, and here also virtually it is being communicated, so that you could get some kind of data from other users also. So other users' data will be taken from other users. Such kind of operations will be there. Then you have to use data control language. So these are the four different types of sub languages which are under SQL. Okay. Then, as the name itself indicates that it is a language. So name itself indicates that this is a specific language. So since it is a specific language, every language have a certain number of data types, certain number of other features also. Let us see. So if the data set of SQL will be small a to z, you can use them, and then capital A to Z you can use them. 0 to 9 digits are used them, and semicolon, all other special characters, most of the special characters are used. So double quote, single quotes, and starting single quote and ending single quote, or dollar symbol, everything can be used except double quotes. Double quotes are not supposed to be accepted here. Double quotes are not, only in one place double quotes are accepted, and very rarely we are using, so that we'd like to consider double quotes are not supposed to be taken. And remaining all operations, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to, everything will be, every special character can be used as the data set of the SQL. Mainly concentrated on next component. The component is data type. Okay, what kind of data which is being stored within the specific allotted space will be called as data type. Data type does means what kind of data which is being stored within allotted space of memory is known as data type. So here, Oracle or SQL does have a very rich enough data types. So look at this number. So second one is character. So third one is varchar2. Fourth one is integer, float, then long, so raw, followed by long raw, and then date. Of course, there are many number of data types. Still more, some 6 more data types are there, but they are not supposed to use in Oracle itself. If you want to specify those data types, if you want to execute those data types, you need to have some kind of assistance with front-end application. We are not supposed to take any front-end application at this moment. So 522. 522 have joined just before. So still not at 522 joined just before. You may not have attendance for this class. So however, so here also this raw, the raw and the long raw, these two also not supposed to specify, are not supposed to show you in this particular lecture or in this particular sequence, because raw and long raw will be always used to specify the binary data. Binary data cannot be shown in terms of taking taking just SQL. If you want to show these two, you need to take the assistance of front-end applications such as Java or .NET or any other front-end application will be required to show the contents of this particular raw or long raw. However, if you take a number into consideration, that number will be seems like this. So any column name, whatever the name of the column, number of, so P comma S. P in the sense this is precision. Precision. S in the sense of scale. Scale. Let me explain you what this particular thing here. If you consider other languages and Oracle, not Oracle, SQL, please remember that in other languages, if you define one particular variable as integer A will be defined by you. For example, in C, so integer will be gets occupied 2 bytes in space. So therefore, the ranges of A will be minus 32,000, so 768 to 768 to so positive 32,000, so 767. This is the minimum range and this is the maximum range. But in SQL, it seems it does not seem something like that. How it could be seems in the sense, if a precision value can be taken by you, how many number of bytes which is going to occupy on behalf of precision, that is the maximum value. So let me show you how this could be. So there are 3 ways to be defined this particular number. So first one is just student ID, however, whatever the column name might be. So this is the way you can specify. Second one is with only precision value. Third one is with precision and scale. Both values will be specified. What exactly the meaning will be? By default values of precision will be, the precision default value will be 38, and scale default value will be 20. So therefore, 38 digits will be taken into consideration. Out of these 38, 20 digits will be considered as scale value. That is a decimal value. Let me draw a small diagram for you. For example, this is the 38 bytes which have been occupied. This is the total precision, so which will be equal to 38 bytes. Out of these 38 bytes, so from least significant bit onwards, so 20 bytes will be considered as scale. Right away from here to here, and let me take some other color, then you could understand very soon. From here to here, for example, this could be 20 bytes. So these 20 bytes will be considered as scale, and remaining 18 18 right away from here to here. So it could be 18 bytes. This 18 bytes will be considered as integer part. So this is integer part. Okay. So precision in the sense total bytes, total number of bytes will be there with the precision. Within this particular precision, so how much amount of scale will be given, that could be taken right away from so least significant bit side onwards. Least significant bit side towards most significant bit, it will be calculates how many number of bytes will be given by you. So those many number of bytes will be considered as scale, and the remaining bytes will be considered as a precision minus scale. How many number of bytes are left over? They will be considered as integer part. Okay, that will be called as integer part. In this way, the occupation will be there. For student ID, we have taken so number. There is no precision value, there is no scale value at this moment. We did not given any precision value, or we did not given any scale value. So at this place. So therefore, it could be for student ID, it could be stored in such a way. So 18 digits or 18 bytes of integer part. 18 bytes in the sense. Let me explain you by using this one or by using this one, because it's very easy to explain these two instead of this one. So let us consider second one. Second one will be, so total precision value is 5. Total precision value is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So look at this, so totally 5 bytes are there. So each and every byte is responsible to store so 0 to 9. This byte is going to store 0 to 9. Similarly, this byte also 0 to 9, and so on and so forth. Every byte will be. So here you can store so either 0 or and so on up to 9 here. Similarly here also. So therefore, minimum value for this particular storage will be, so 5 zeros will be the minimum value, 0, 0, 0, 0. 5 zeros will be minimum value. 2, so maximum value will be 99,999. Okay, 0 to 99,999. If you increase one more byte, so 6 zeros to 6 nines. If you increase one more in the sense, 7 zeros to 7 nines. So unlike other languages, in other languages, based on the occupation of your data type, so it could be taken some kind of range, something like this. As far as C, so this is the integers range. So in SQL, it could not be seen in such a way. It could be always taken. Each byte will be able to store 0 to 9 values. Based on your requirement, you have to store your own value. Okay. In EMP salary, so totally precision value is 11 and scale value is 2. So decimal place will be 2, and the remaining 9 bytes will be allocated for integer part. So 9 bytes in the sense 0 to so 9 nines, 0 to so 9 nines, 9, 9, and so on 9 nines totally. Dot, how many bytes are there for square? 2. So therefore, 2 scale part will be there. Okay. And as far as SQL is concerned, number is a data type which is considered as or called as the fixed point float value. So fixed point float value. So this is a fixed point float because you can expect. So how many digits have been allocated for scale here? 2 digits. So always it could be taken the decimal place before 2 digits only. So you never give more than 2 digits out there. If you give more than 2 digits, last digit will be truncated. Instead of rounded, it is being truncated. So you can expect. So let me write some values here. So 1, 2, 3. So 123.70. So 7,475.65. You can see these two numbers. Decimal place will be just before 2 digits only, because we have been mentioned in such a way here. We have been mentioned in such a way here. Decimal place will be 2 digits only. If you specify only integer part, let me say the 175 will be specified by you. In memory, it could be, so decimal place, double zero will be stored. Double zero will be automatically stored. In this way, number data type will be there here. This number data type will be fixed point float value. Fixed point, so float value. You please remember this particular point here. This is the way to store number data type. Then followed by, so I'd like to talk about each this particular point or this particular portion by tomorrow, because where exactly you are trying to download this Oracle and how the Oracle will be gets loaded and everything will be talk about this particular portion by tomorrow. Character. Next one is CHR. CHR will be stored as pixel length size. So if you consider any data type, the data type will be so taken in the same definition what we have given in the number type. Column name followed by data type of size. Column name followed by data type of size. In the same pattern, so all data types definitions will be there here. So column name is ABC. So character of 20. So it could be allocates. It could be allocates 20 bytes of space for you. 20 bytes of space for you. So within this particular thing, how the data will be, why it is called as a pixel length. Pixel length in size, why it could be called as pixel length. So let me consider for the first column or for the first row, I may be enter HARI. So HARI will be my data. Remaining 16 bytes. So out of 20, I have used only 4 bytes. What about remaining 16 bytes in the sense? Remaining 16 bytes will be stored with or will be stuffed with blank spaces. Blank spaces. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you how this could be done. I'll show you when we'll come to a SQL actual execution point of view. Varchar2. So the counterpart of a character is varchar2. It is so variable length. The name itself indicates that variable length. Variable length in the sense. So let me consider. I'd like to take the same kind of definition here also. So x, y, z. So varchar2 of some 20. It will be taken by me. What exactly it is going to use? What exactly it is going to use? What exactly it is going to use? What could be done by this particular thing here? So this could be. It is also before what you call. So enter the value. It could be taken. So 20 bytes. It could be allocates 20 bytes only. So here I may be taken, so SURI, this is my name which have been taken, only 4 bytes. Remaining 16 bytes will be right away from here to here. So it could be eliminated. It could be eliminated. It could be released from the storage. And the size of your, so this particular data item or this particular row will be only 4 characters. Whereas here, remaining thing will be placed with or stuffed with the blank spaces. So data will be always stored with 20 characters, whereas it could be based on the user's data. Remaining space will be so released from that particular place, and only this amount of data is going to be stored here. So that is why we will save the data. So we will save the space when we have to use varchar2. If you use a character, you could not save the data. Sorry, you could not save the space. Whereas if you use varchar2, so you can save. Okay. So how these two could be? So this character will be, maximum length of this character will be 999. So 1 to 999 can be taken. So instead of 20, we will place as 1, we'll place as 9, we'll place as 100, 200, 999 can be possible. So here, this could be, so 0 to, so 4 nines, 9,999. Okay, instead of 20, you can place anything. Size of varchar2 will be very huge enough when compared to character, and the character will be fixed length, fixed size in this particular storage. Okay, that is the basic difference. And whatever the things you have been learned in other languages such as C, C++, and Java or .NET or anywhere else, so how you have learned as far as those languages, integers and floats will be same. But here, integer could be occupied 8 bytes, float could be gets occupied 16 bytes. That is the only difference here. 8 bytes and this is 16 bytes. 8 bytes in the sense 2 power, so 8 8s are 64. 2 power, so 63 minus 2 power 63 2. So positive 2 power 63 minus 1. This is the range where exactly the value could be stored within the integer of SQL. Integer of SQL, it could be stored. And here, this could be stored 1 point, sorry, this is 3.60, so into 10 power, so 4791, this is a negative way, okay, 2, so 1.0 into, so 10 power 4791. Actually, it is not the minus actually, here minus will be there. 10 powers minus will be there, here it is positive will be there. So this is the range of the float. This is the range of the float and how this could be stored. Let us see in our explanation point of view. Okay. So the time is gets over. I have only 1 minute of time, 2 minutes of time. So let me take some attendance of you. By tomorrow, I shall continue the remaining. Okay. And don't go away. I'd like to take the attendance first. Yes. Things are good. Thank you. And I'll place this particular video within 15 minutes to you as a YouTube link, and you will go through if you have any. And I have already given, already